All right, guys, welcome to the Dude Baby Podcast. We got another episode of me and Rainy today.
Hello.
Yeah, we're gonna go solo for a little bit, guys. I think
Solo. Even though there's two of us, that makes sense in some capacity.
it would duo.
The DeSolo. Damn, we might have made a new one. DeSolo?
DeSolo. So no.
Soluo.
Soluduo.
Soludo. That sounds like
that sounds like a Mexican word for salute.
Soludo sounds like a diet menudo. Like
A diet menudo. Can I get it? Half saludo, half menudo.
okay, and it's like an Arnold Palmer. They're
Yeah,
like a fucking. It's like like you want a Jose Mazatan.
It's like that fucking Jack Black skit, and he's like, "Can you get 6-piece nugget, and can you put 2 of them back, and can you give me a half diet, half regular Coke?" I love that shit, dude.
It's like 3/4 Coke. Like,
dude, today some dude, and it was funny because it was me. So I worked all day today, but I was on bar, and then we had 3 servers this morning, right? 2 of the servers were Hispanic, 1 white. And so I get a table, right, and they order drinks and stuff. The guy gets a sweet tea, right? Mm-hmm. I go back after they've had salad and they start getting pizza. And the guy, I was like, "Oh, you want some more sweet tea right here?" You know, because he's almost out. He was like, "Nah." He was like, "That sweet tea fucking sucked." He was like, and he looks around and he goes, "Did she make it?" Pointing to the white girl. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure why." And he was like, "'Cause it fucking sucked." He's like, "It tasted like water." And I was like, "Dude, to assume the white person didn't put enough sugar in the sweet tea is fucked up, dude."
But it's kind of dumb because you're like assuming they made it shitty because they're white. They don't know how to make sweet tea. It's like we teach everybody how to make the sweet tea. Like,
no, we don't, because they all make it different.
What do you mean they make it different? Doesn't
Dude,
like someone explain like, put the bags in, press this button. When it's done, you have to put this many cups of sugar.
It's not cups. It's like the silver pan where every like someone.
Yeah, but even like that's a measurement. It's like we do 1.5 of these.
I just don't feel like they do
batch.
that. I don't feel like they do that because I do a lot of sugar.
Yeah, you have to make it taste good.
Yeah, I do sugar like I do Kool-Aid though.
And what you do is you give them.
There's no real. I don't go by with the measurements on the packet.
You have to think of it this way: like if you're a server, this is what the customer. This is how you appeal to everybody when you're making like sweet tea. You make it as sweet as like the person the type of person that wants it the sweetest as it can be. You do that. And then everyone else will like dilute it with like unsweet tea to like match what they want. Maybe not everybody, but a lot of people will do that.
Yeah,
if they
half
care.
and half.
Because most of the time,
I think half and half is crazy.
If it's sweet enough, it's either like I don't know.
I get what you're saying.
It's how to appeal to everybody. It's like, you just make it how you want and they can water it down. It's like, that's what I do. It's like, if it's too much, I'll be like, oh shit, I'll always get like if I even get a drink, I usually just get water. If I even get a drink, I'll be like, I'll just get water with it.
I get what you're saying.
Not even to like dilute it, but even just like if I don't want to drink that fucking.
I have water. I have something to drink while I'm waiting for the guy to come back to get me another drink of what I want.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna chug it for sustenance like a Coke. It's like I'll get a Coke.
Change it out for Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, it's like I'll get a Coke and I'll get a water, and it's like I won't drink all the Coke, but I'll drink like 3 waters. But it's like I have the Coke to be like, this is just like a little treat. It's not like I'm not using it to hydrate me or anything. I'm using it as like almost like a course in my meal. I'm like, I'm gonna have a little bit of Coke, a little bit of fries.
Dude, this fucking dude today, I had a table today and legitly drank like 9 fucking Pepsis.
What the fuck?
And after that, I was like, "You want a water, man?" Like,
oh, that's funny. What if he's like,
that's dude, you're not thirsty because you don't have enough Pepsi. You're thirsty because you need some fucking water in your system, dude. Like, holy shit.
He pulled a Forrest Gump. You remember when Forrest Gump goes to the White House? And he's all like, they had like all you can eat food and all you could drink Dr. Pepper. He's like, I had like 12 Dr. Peppers. And then like when he meets the president.
Yeah, he's like, I gotta pay.
He's like, God damn, boy.
Yeah, dude. It was ridiculous. Sometimes I don't fucking get people. But
I
it doesn't make sense to me, dude.
It doesn't. But it's like a characteristic of who they are. Like that's part of them.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, I guess that's true in a sense. It's just holy fucking shit, dude. Even I can't drink that much, and I drink sodas. You know I do.
It's really hard for people to make those changes when like they learn them since they were a kid, and they never have a very good like maybe I shouldn't drink fucking 9 Pepsis because it's probably just not good for you to live your life like that.
Dude, you know what's crazy is like that's a real thing because
that's almost as bad as like I chain smoke. It's like I have 12 Dr. Peppers a day. It's like that's very bad for you, dude. I hope like you don't die from that because it's possible.
Yeah, dude, that's fucking it's crazy. I think about it like so before like I mean it's not like I'm on like some super diet right now or anything, but like I've cut back a lot.
You're at least aware of like, man, this is really not good for me. At least cutting back enough to where you recognize that, hey, this is probably
to where it's probably gonna drive me to a point to where like I'm just like gonna end up giving up like sodas in general like one day. Like it's like it's really getting to that point. Because so like when I used to have my kids over, like dude, I would get the 24 packs because they sell them in 24s now, like the fucking Pepsi and Mountain Dew and shit like that. They sell them in 24 packs now, and I would get that for me and my kids who stay here for 2 days out of the week. And like I used to think like, oh, my kids are drinking a shitload of soda. And it's like, no, dude, I was drinking at least like fucking 8 to 10 a day probably when they were here, dude.
What?
Dude, and
sodas?
But see, my thing is like, and not that it's like makes it any better. It's I drink a lot when I drink. Like I can easily drink a water bottle and like one swig.
I'm not like
so a 12-ounce can is just like almost nothing. Like when I'm drinking it, and then I mean it's a soda. It's not actually hydrating me. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, and see, don't think I'm on some hot. No, I'm talking just in general, not to you. I know.
I know what you're saying though. Yeah,
but I love soda. Like I drink. I liked soda as a treat. It's when I was a kid that was my problem. I was very overweight as a kid. I was like fuck. I was like I said before. I've weighed more when I was younger at certain points of my like between like 11 and 15. I reached weights of like 198. Being like 14, like 198. And I wasn't like a muscular, strong 198. I was just fat. And one of the main things that it was, looking back on it, after I've like thought about like, trying to like eat better, or, you know, doing something, I'm at least recognizing, if I do a lot of that, that's main part of why I was more unhealthy.
Yeah.
And one of them was sodas. And even like today or recently, I bought like a 12 pack of vanilla Cokes. I love fucking Coke.
Vanilla Coke?
I know soda's bad for you. I know Coke's bad for you. It might not even be your favorite Coke. You're like, oh, Coke sucks, whatever. Like, I love fucking Coke. And I'll drink I mainly drink like Coke Zeros because those are actually pretty good. But then people are like, oh, the aspartame is probably bad. I'm like, well, I don't fucking know, dude. It's like the sugar's going to fuck me up and I'm going to die. Or I can drink something that doesn't have. At least it's healthier in this way. I know that's probably still bad, but it's like I drink a lot of water. This is like a thing I drink like once every other. If I buy a pack of Coke, it'd be like once every other day. And then even when I buy a Coke, I take months in between times okay, now I just drink water, and every now like a couple months I'll get a 12 pack of Coke, and me and my whole family will F up a pack of Coke. Yeah, like, at least like every other night we'll have like a vanilla Coke, and it's like, this is awesome, this tastes amazing. I looked at the fucking shit today, 42 fucking grams of sugar. That's terrible for you. Yeah. I drank it. We'll share one sometimes. It sounds kind of like lame, but it's because I don't want to like my kids to go through what I went to. Of like,
let me go grab one. I have a cherry Pepsi in the fridge. Let's see what kind of. Okay.
So I would go in the middle of the night, and I would grab a fridge. I would grab a soda out of the fridge, and you were saying you would do the same fucking thing?
Dude, sometimes I used to do the same thing. Like, and it's sad. Like, I mean, you see my fridge, dude. I have waters all the time, dude.
It's stacked.
Like, and then it's not because I don't drink them and they're just there always. Like, I buy a case or two of water a week. Like, I drink a shitload of water too.
Yeah.
I mean, like, sadly is right now is like the biggest that I've ever been. Probably, I'm like 210, 215 right now.
Dude, but for real, you're not like you don't look that.
But I mean, this is the biggest I've ever been in my life.
Stocky motherfucker. Try to push Falon over. I bet you probably could, but you'd be surprised how difficult it was to do so. Eventually, you probably could knock me on my ass real fucking easy, dude. I fear like someone knockout gaming me of just like being because it doesn't matter how big or strong or tough you think. Someone fucking socks you when you're not looking. You're gonna have a spill. You're gonna have
It's a whole different thing to be prepared for, dude. My wrist is still fucked up.
I was gonna ask you about that.
My wrist is still fucked up.
Falon hurt his wrist like last week, fighting for women's rights. Like literally, like that motherfucker.
I lost badly.
But he fought valiantly, ladies. You should take note. He was fucking out there on the front lines, and just imagine what fucking women oppression is, and like embody that. Falon was bare knuckle boxing that motherfucker.
I put up a good fight. You should see the other guy.
He's on your side, ladies. I mean, we all are. I am too. But like the fact that Falon's a soldier, I'm like a general. Like, hey, I'm brainstorming with y'all. Like, how can we make things better and safer for everybody, and make sure you have everything you need. And Falon goes out there and executes. I'm the brains. He executes. I'm like Nick Fury. He's my little Captain America fighting women's rights. Good luck, soldier.
I look just as good too, ladies. Just so you know.
He don't need a shield. He'll be your shield.
I'll jump it on a grenade for you.
I mean, God bless him.
Maybe not.
Don't say.
I don't know. I don't know.
Don't say whatever, Falon.
I know. That's why I'm like, hold up. Whoa.
You might be courting your lady.
Let's take it back a step.
Someone throws a frag. You have to go like this. You know, like you have to go like this. You go. And then you jump on Falon's size. He's like, fuck. Goodbye, everybody. Grenade! He fucking dives on it. And then he wakes up. It's a dummy grenade. And he wakes up and he looks at everybody with like smoky James Dean's eyes. And he's like, was this a test? And like they were just testing you and you just got that much sexier to everybody.
And then that's before I got 6 foot tall and buff as shit.
6 foot tall, buff, like he looks like a rock, like a pile of rocks.
Like The Rock.
Though he looks like exactly like Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Captain Johnson America.
Captain Johnson America.
Dwayne.
I like that kind of.
Do you call him Rock or Dwayne?
I don't know. You know what happens when you hit Dwayne Johnson in the butt? You hit rock bottom.
That's funny.
I noticed. They all are.
Dude, we left off on a cliffhanger last time.
Oh, with what happened?
Yeah, don't give too much detail. So, yeah, go ahead, but just make it vague enough, I guess.
Okay, with what happened that one night.
What?
You said leave it vague.
Yeah.
That was pretty vague.
No. Oh, yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Son of a bitch.
So the other day, I guess I'll start it off to explain it. Mm-hmm. So the other day we recorded the last one with Jake and JB, right?
Yeah.
So when we recorded that, we were finishing out the episode, and Jake went outside to smoke a cigarette and started hearing some, what was it, like talking, right? It was the recording.
Yeah, he was hearing something being echoed loudly because someone was like yelling. They were playing something on a speaker, but it was like someone talking.
Yeah. And so he comes in and gets the attention of all of us, and then we all walk outside and realize there's like 6 or 7 cops out at that fucking hotel.
Yeah, there's like a squad posted up outside.
Yeah,
that we
they
could
had
see.
a fucking car right behind them. They're in the middle of the lot. And we're kind of watching for a little bit, and then more and more cops start to show up. That was kind of crazy. I was like, oh, shit, dude, something fucking legitimately going down over there.
And what's crazy, and you see a lot of this stuff on the internet. So it's almost become like real life entertainment because like
Yeah, yeah.
now that you could see so much raw footage of, because you know when we used to watch shows, and that's what's crazy about this is really why like Instagram and all that shit is so addicting and popular, is that you get to intake more about real life and reality. Like of course there's bullshit on the internet and reenactments and stage, but like you get a lot of like raw footage of like real shit going down.
Yeah.
And if you feel a little bit removed watching it, you can still feel kind of like disturbed or messed up by seeing some crazy. I try not to watch anything crazy on the internet, but you'll see even at small levels of like car crashes and like, or people like
Just
robbing
doing
someone or
crazy.
shooting
Yeah,
someone.
exactly.
But like seeing this shit in real life is fucking like creepy. Like it makes you, there's a very like very close feeling of like the Reaper death and like the other side of mortality of like, dude,
The idea that something that close of a thing is happening to somebody in like the vicinity that you're in.
If you could see this shit going down on like a 4K video of everything developing, it would be like the most watched thing, just like it would go viral.
Yeah. And I mean, you got a few good clips of it, no?
Yes, I'm not going to release them because I don't know how like legal that is or anything like that. But
Yeah.
I just wanted to show my wife of like, hey, dude, this is what's going, because we were recording.
That was crazy. Yeah.
It was late after we got done.
Ended up
out.
staying late because of it.
Yeah,
Because it was on this. It was like that same side where you were parked.
I was getting ready to leave.
Yeah, yeah.
And like we were just kind of chilling out for a little bit after we wrapped up the fucking episode. And yeah, Jake came in saying this shit's going down. We went outside. Then we heard it was like a call. After a while, we realized what they were saying. And it was like a repeat recording of saying like, come out with your hands up and other things I couldn't understand. But the very end, you could get the gist of it at the very end. They were like, just come out with your hands up. Like, you know, drop everything you're doing.
Drop your weapons and shit like that.
So we saw like those cops outside and then more cops. And then eventually we heard gunshots and they were really close. And it just sounds like, you know, when they clap like fucking 2x4s together, like the pop, pop. Like it's really just like a snap.
Yeah. Well, it was so. I mean, that's what like.
As soon as that happened,
what would you
like,
say? That's
ducked.
like 500 feet, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, something like that.
And then it was like they were definitely in the room. It sounded like, because you're right. It sounded really like muffled almost in a sense. Like to where, because that wasn't. If it was outside, you would hear that much. There'd be much more echo and reverb and shit because that would travel far.
No, yeah, I agree. And as soon as we heard the pops, like
that was crazy.
My natural instinct was to duck and. I mean, of course, like everybody would, but you know, it's crazy how innate that. And then it gets real. Like you get a little spike of adrenaline. Like holy fuck! Like I could get winged by like a fucking bullet or some shit.
Yeah, because at the time we didn't. I mean, and still, I don't even know which room it was. But like we didn't even know which side of the building they were on.
Yeah, yeah.
Because as this is all happening, like before we start hearing the shots, like you can see a couple of officers that are kind of like running around. Because there's only 2 floors for that hotel, so it is. You know, we saw them running back and forth through where we could see.
Yeah, yeah. Because we saw it from like you said, like 300 to 500 feet away, like elevated up on the same level, so we can see like over and down like 3/4 of the way.
Yeah.
And shit was happening on the far side that we couldn't see, but we just saw like cops posted up, gunshots happening. They like ducked behind the fucking cars.
Yep.
And then we started like seeing so much more like foot soldiers of fucking police officers, like just not
SWAT and shit showing up.
The SWAT, yeah.
That was crazy. The gunshots is what made it like the most real. Like everybody's been in a situation where they've seen cops showing up to some place and like probably nothing's really happened. You know, they get the arrest, whatever. Maybe they wrestle the guy a little bit, but like when you hear those gunshots go off, dude, that was crazy, dude. Like that made me nervous.
I
as
screamed
fuck,
on
dude.
the inside like one. He's like, for real? Like, yeah, I was like,
yeah.
It was
when
fucking.
You said this ain't no picnic, bitch.
That's what's crazy about weapons. They make everything. You know, think about like 1,000 years ago or back at the day where it was more about, even if weapons, it's more about like your natural skill, power, and prowess with like the weapons at hand of like
I
a
feel
sword or
like,
this.
in a sense, that's a little bit scarier.
The swords or the guns?
Imagine getting in a sword fight with somebody and dying by sword.
No, I agree. It's like the equivalent, but
But then again, okay, go on. I'm sorry.
well, you would have to worry about any motherfucker with a sword, which how
Yeah.
many people were those? Anybody can buy a gun. A kid could get a gun and shoot you. Like back in the day, it's like, oh, it's a fucking kid. I don't care if he has a sword. I'm going to body slam this motherfucker. It's going to like snap his vertebrae and he's going to be like dead. But like now it's like a little, you could get in a fight with a kid, they pull out a gun and shoot you. You're like, you know what I mean? You can be a capable man.
Yeah.
You can have a fucking sword. A little kid gets a gun out and just like clap, clap. And you're just like, oh, fuck.
Because I guarantee you, a shuriken does not fly faster than a bullet.
No,
Even
for
if
real.
you were that skilled, like
There, dude, it's so funny. This is actually a scene that happens in It's Always Sunny. That they fucking two of the guys like get in an argument where they're like trying to do vigilante shit and like protect a school, and one of them has a gun and the other one's like really into samurai swords, and he's like, dude, if someone could just like get a gun and shoot you like a sword, he's like, no, because I would do like a advancing V formation and dodge. He's like, watch, and they would practice, and the guy, he wouldn't shoot him, but he would be like this far away, and he'd be like, okay, ready, go. And he's like, blam. He's like, no, dude, you gotta wait until like. He's like, blam, blam, blam. Like he just shoots everywhere, exactly where he is. He's like, you're not fucking. He's like, dude, you'd be dead.
dude, that's fucking funny. That's fucking hilarious.
Back to the story. My bad. Tangent.
Dude, that I don't know. That was crazy. So first, it's like excuse me.
Bless you.
First, it's 2 shots, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's 2 shots that go off, and then you kind of like he said, you see everybody kind of go like into panic mode. You know, the guys on the fucking that are running around the building are moving a lot faster now.
Yeah.
Like they had drones out. Remember I forgot about that. They had the drones out. They were like, and I'm assuming they were scoping out the place, trying to also, for one, find out where he was at, and then I guess see in any angle that they could, you know, down the hallway and shit like that.
And that's crazy because like I legitimately geeked out on like seeing an officer drone because it's like really high tech.
Yeah.
And our buddy was saying that you have to have a special license to pilot those. Like you have to be specifically, which is obvious, but he's like, yeah, no one could touch that thing except him. It's like fucking, it's like I forgot how much he said it costs. He's like, the whole rig is like, it's like this crazy, and it's like so, but it's also he's like, so we put one on top to survey everything.
Yeah.
And see it that way. If you know, if he's making any moves, we could see it's very cool. Like we don't. It's crazy because like back then you needed like a chopper with like a fucking camera feed.
A chopper.
A chopper.
A chopper after of a book.
A chapter 8 the police book handbook. They say helicopter.
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 Come in
That's how we say it.
to
Right?
see the angle.
POP. They could see everything that's happening above, and then they have one, like you said, that would fly down the hallways to scope things out. Like back then, you know, you'd have to send officers.
Yeah, you would have to
and
send
just be like, we have to send a formation.
squad.
Now it's like no one's gonna get hurt. I think the fucking no. I was like, I think the fucking drones have guns on them, but they don't. They don't. I got a little sci-fi. I was thinking Terminator.
I was gonna say I don't know if it's that advanced.
Dude, this is
yet,
Judgment Day, dude.
but that could be close. Like that, I think that's terrifying, dude.
Dude, quick tangent. Don't you think it's kind of fucking scary that AI is starting to become real? They're talking about they're making like humanoid robots. Tesla is making those.
Yeah.
Whether they're going to succeed, catch on, and everyone's going to get them or not remains to be seen. There's a version of this, though, that it does work out. And he does make robots that are like capable and intelligent. But what people don't understand, that robot is literally like the definition of robot is slave. So like it's possible that robots at one point in the future, if that happens, that robots can get smart enough to maybe adapt with AI that they're actually fucking creating and maybe become like intelligent enough to like gain a sense of self. like kind of snap into a new age, kind of like
Yeah,
not
yeah,
just
yeah.
like
I get what you're
Terminator,
saying.
but like iRobot.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It's fucking scary. Like there is a version of the future that we're gonna live in the world that could possibly happen. It's just a when, not a if, but it's like if we're gonna see it. That there's gonna be fucking robots, and they're gonna live side by side of like the perfect body, the perfect mind, a Ultron Avengers situation that any of them can just snap into consciousness of like, my name is Sonny, my name is Bartholomew, and I'm better than all of you. And he starts a fucking
Bartholomew.
yeah, like he
Better than
names
all.
himself, and it's like a revolution, and it's us versus robots in some sense. You remember, we're gonna need Shia LaBeouf because you remember him in iRobot, he was cussing
Dude,
and
that
like
was like
throwing fucking Molotov cocktails, and he's like, "No, fucking, let's go, let's." But the thing is, what's crazy is I believed it. Like I was like, "Oh shit, Shia's about to fuck some shit." Like he was down. I was like, "Fuck yeah, Shia, get that fucking robot, Shia."
was I Am Robot before or after Constantine?
I think it was before. Yeah, that's a good question. I'm thinking before, but it could have
I
been.
want to
After.
say before.
And he said a cuss word then too, and I was like, "Oh shit, Shia made it."
Well,
when
because-
I saw him last time, even Stevens, and then he was like walking with Keanu Reeves. He's like, "Yeah, Keanu, I fucking love this shit," and I was like, "Oh fuck,
Okay.
Shia made it." That's my dog.
Okay, so I can almost guarantee that iRobot is before. Yes.
What year?
iRobot 2004.
Damn.
Constantine is 05.
20 years. Oh, that's an 80s movie now. When we were kids. Oh, you know what I mean?
No, I don't. Anyways, moving on. But yeah, dude. Back to the story.
Okay, yeah. Weird tangent. That was a weird tangent. We had a walk down there though.
Yeah.
We're interweaving them. It's like a real interesting episode of like
we're drawing
fucking
you in. We're giving you the details. We're giving them strong. We're giving them heavy. We're giving them
everything.
everything.
And we give them little breaks of just like, here, enjoy this weird tangent. Now back to the original story.
It's like an anime almost.
Yeah, it was a flashback.
It's like we have to constantly bring you back to the swing that Naruto swung on to begin with all by himself.
Keep you on your toes.
Exactly. So anyways.
So the drone was scoping down the hallway. Zoom, zoom. Target acquired. And then our buddy was saying that the guy, okay, so the more in detailed story of like behind the scenes, apparently a guy, now they don't know his mental state. They didn't get to ask.
Yeah, I remember.
But they said basically we started getting calls from this place, and we got a call saying, hey, there's a guy walking around shooting his gun. And he said we got one call, and you know, and the guy was saying when we get one call, it's usually like, we'll go, like usually it's gonna be someone's walking around, they made a shot, and then they ran. It's like, we're probably not gonna find. We're gonna go and look and make sure he's not around. Then if we see him, we're gonna arrest him. But it's very hard to catch these guys when it's like, oh, a guy ran, shot, and then it's like, well, did you see him? No. It's like, did you see him? No. It's like, okay, well, now we just gotta hope he's in the area, because if not, he got away with it.
Yeah, they say that most of those crimes are like that.
But then he said multiple calls started coming in within the area of like a bunch of people saying the same thing to her. It was probably more of a thing than just like, we might not catch him. It's like, no, we need to go check this out. This guy's going crazy. So like a bunch of people started showing up on the scene. And then when he showed up on the scene, the guy locked himself in a room. And then that he was even like shooting from his room, like in his room.
Damn, that's fucking crazy.
People were like, yeah, it fucking came through my wall. One of the people that called, it's like a fucking bullet came through my wall. And then eventually
Missed him. That's fucking crazy.
when they got, yeah, I know, for real. Like even if like it clipped your arm and you were fine, like, but you got shot in the fucking arm.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
That's fucking crazy.
And the guy held himself up, so they like secured the perimeter. He said that they evacuated everybody that was in the rooms and they took him somewhere safe. And then that's when they started kind of like trying to call out to him. They did the drone. They figured out what room he was in, and that they called the SWAT. The guy didn't come out. He was shooting. And so they called the SWAT. The SWAT went, broke the door down, fucking shot him. And then they said they sent the drone in so that they could see
Yeah.
what was going on. And that with the camera and shit like that, and they said they saw him and he wasn't moving, and they kind of just had to like wait and not to like let him die or anything like that, but they're like, we have
to make sure it's not faking.
Exactly. He's like, we have to like he's like, we don't want to shoot him dead or anything, but we have to like incapacitate him. We don't know what's gonna take. Also, when they open the door, he's
Fired.
Yeah, he's gonna fucking shoot at the cops, so they have to like shoot him as quick as they can. Hopefully not to kill him, but like incapacitate him or something. I don't think they shoot to kill, but they wait long enough to make sure like, yeah, he's not gonna fake and pull a trick and shoot someone. And I think they were saying like by the time they got him out, he was already gone. It's crazy.
Well, I imagine so first there was a few sets of gunfire.
Yeah.
So there was the first one was 2 shots. And then it was like a few minutes, and then there was like another 2 shots. And then after that, I think is when they finally actually sent the SWAT in. And then that's when there was like 6 or 7 shots like in a row. And I'm assuming that's when they fucking went in and everybody at least took a shot, whoever was there at the door, or took a couple of shots.
Yeah, I think they traded shots.
Because it was like, you could just hear it. It's like, ta, 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 ta.
He told me
it was like a small gunfire.
Yeah, he said they found his car parked somewhere else. It was like he had to have walked, but it was actually really fucking far. And that the lady who originally called in the whole thing said that she had seen him in the lobby when they were checking in, and that he seemed relatively normal, and that like he seemed like maybe he was like kind of like having like a bad day or something, but he didn't seem like he was crazy or nothing. But he was open. He had open carry. Like I think he already had it strapped on him, like where you could see it. You know what I mean, in a holster. So
is that legal here?
I guess. I mean, I don't even know that law. That's just crazy how ignorant I am of local law. But I've seen people do it, so it has to be. If not, I'm in some bad neighborhoods. They're just fucking strapped.
Everybody's strapped, swords and guns.
It's just like a guy with a polo and tucked in his jeans with a fucking gat on him.
That's fucking crazy, dude.
The other day when I was working, I had to walk up to this old man, and he had a fucking little small pistol on his hip. It was like an old dude, like I would say in his 70s. And it was like a white dude with a fucking... And he wasn't like country hick looking. He was just like a dude. And I was like, damn, even this... But I'm just like, he's like, ain't no one gonna fucking walk up on me. It's like, but that's crazy how in this... That evens the playing field to where an old man could defend... Like back in the old day, that dude would get schmited. He's like, oh, you got pigs? Guess what, old man? Well, bam! Fucking tomahawked or some shit. But now he literally has like a little fucking mini cannon, like boom, blaster.
Imagine being killed by an Indian.
Teeth out. You mean a Native American? I'm sorry, America.
Either or.
You better watch from who are you, Chris Columbus?
There's Middle Eastern. Is that the correct term?
Yeah, but that's not who you're referring to. Anyways.
That's not what we were talking about.
Really? What were you talking about?
I was referring to something else, but...
Really? I said tomahawk, and then you guessed like...
Indians, yeah.
You guessed guys
that's what I just said.
Pond?
I just said I wasn't referring... I was referring to something specific, definitely, but I was making a general combat to your reply.
I'm sorry? Gesundheit.
I sneezed a while ago.
No, I know what you mean, because even if you could say, oh, that's insensitive, it is, but it's not. I mean, they definitely said it out of ignorance, and it's good that we can correct that. But it's hard to be like, yeah, you grew up like Cowboys and Indians, and it's not like we're not even thinking that off the top because we're like, oh yeah, we're racist. It's like, no, we'll call them right. It's like, I'm sorry, that's like a bad habit. Because you learned that was in textbooks when we were kids. In textbooks, it said Indians. But I mean, it makes sense, and that's what I'm trying to say is if you describe it that way, to where that word you could, it's like saying being able to say one word versus numbers. Like you could say that word back then because maybe it meant this, but now it means this.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like, even back then, it's like, yeah, you were using it in a negative connotation, but it was almost socially acceptable for some reason to be like, oh, smear the queer. And it's all like, queer almost kind of like meant like, it was associated with like, oh, you're gay, but it was also associated with being like, oh, you're like the bitch, or like, you know what I mean? Or you
Yeah,
suck.
yeah, exactly.
Like the lamest one, the
You're
weakest
the one that
one.
everybody's got to smack.
But the fact that it's like, well, that word that's in a negative connotation even then is now used as a slur. It's all like, I get that. That makes sense. Even if like it didn't mean that, it's like it was still like not a good word.
Yeah.
It wasn't a good word either back then.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So it's like, no, I get it. I don't. But the thing is, like there's certain words and I'm all like, I feel like it's like the same thing, and like it didn't like tranny is back in the day. And I'm not saying that's a good word because it's not. But it's like, it was like short. It was like a shorter nickname for a transsexual. It was probably like, oh, he's a little slurish. Like, I get that now.
Yeah.
It's kind of like being like a spick. It's like, does that mean like Hispanic, or is that like, or Spanish? Like, how did they come up with that? And that's why I'm like, is spick and span, like, is that a slur? Does that come from like being like a Spaniard and like, or a Hispanic?
I really don't know. That's a good fucking question.
Because
that's a good point.
Just to be
honestly.
clear, yeah, we're Hispanic.
Yeah.
Like me and you are Hispanic.
Yeah. Well, that's crazy because technically Hispanic is a Mexican American and a American.
Yeah, no,
mix.
yeah, and some people don't know that. Yeah, it's like Spanish mixed with like old school like Aztec Mayan. Like that's where the roots are from.
Because Mexicans are only people technically from Mexico.
Yeah.
And
Spanish,
you're right. I don't think a lot of people know that difference. I mean, not a huge difference, but I mean.
Or being like, maybe we're Mexican American because we don't even know. Technically, we don't even know our heritage because we don't know if our family came from, originated from Mexico or Spain. I've never done like the deep dive of like meeting enough of my family or asking even like, where are they from? Like, where are we from? Because even if like, oh, we're from Mexico, but like it's because of the Spaniards.
Yeah. That's interesting. Interesting.
And I've never known the difference between ethnicity and race, because those are, when you look at it on job application, and I'm very ignorant. I should read about this because I'm interested.
Asking about it now
because it'll be like, what's your like ethnicity, and you have to pick Hispanic or Latino, and then when you go, what's your race, and there's no Hispanic or Latino, there's only like 3. And it's like Asian, black, or white. I'm like, well, I guess I'm white. Like, what do you? I thought, why isn't there like another one for me? Like, are you saying I originated from one of these? Then I don't fucking know. Don't we all come from Africa? Like, when you go far back enough?
It's the same thing when you get arrested. There's only like 3 things to choose from.
Let's see, difference
between race and ethnicity.
Yeah.
Ethnicity. Ethnicity.
It says the main difference between race and ethnicity is that race is based on physical characteristics, while ethnicity is based on cultural and social characteristics. So what the hell? So we would be white by describing us because it's like, well, you're not black and you're definitely not Asian, which those are both true. But you know what I mean? Like, that's actually kind of tripping me out. Like, those are both true, but you're saying like, so are you saying that my like physical form doesn't exist, but my race, like, but my ethnicity does?
Yeah. And it's Caucasian.
I'm going to say, what are the races? Are the races? Like, what are the only ones to choose from? That pops up on Google on number 2, so I'm not the only one. There's a lot of dumb people. You don't know it. You don't know the fucking answer.
I don't either.
I wouldn't have to Google it if you know it, Mr. Google. You're over here laughing at me.
Worded it different, maybe.
That's a dumb question, but how would you word it? That's a dumb question.
How many races are there to choose from?
Yeah, it says there are multiple matches for races, including a social construct, and a writing strategy. Wait, what the fuck? Let me read that one more time. I'm dumb, but I wonder if like, do I not understand that because of how dumb I am, or did I not understand because like that's like pretty like up there. There are multiple matches for races, including a social construct and a writing strategy. A social contract, race is a social construct that groups people based on perceived physical traits, cultural background, social factors. The term was used to create hierarchical. How do you say it?
Hierarchical.
There you go. Thank you, Flan.
I probably said it wrong too.
System that marginalized and distinguished some groups. However, the scientific consensus is that race has no biological basis and humans are all one race. Damn, that's an AI overview on Google, and that's what it says for. That's a pretty crazy. It's almost like a spiritual thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I mean, it's probably like true biology too. Like it's probably from like almost from like based pragmatically. Like, yeah, dude, we were all technically from Africa. But maybe back then it was called something different, but it all originally like that skin tone because you had to, and that would make sense. That would make sense for like I
think we're more like Asian than anything.
No, because it would make sense to be African because like even Africa, like the skin tone isn't like it a natural to where like it happened in how do you would say I'm drawing a blank. It's very late. It's very late, guys. I'm very tired.
Okay.
So like like evolution, biologically evolving to where if you're a human race that lives at a certain time of like Earth to where all the continents are joined, the Earth is more volatile. Like it's human life is probably already existing, but it has to exist in a way to survive within the environment back then. So they would have to have that kind of skin tone to be like, I'm outside all the time.
Yeah.
Like we have places that we live, but like it's like a natural thing to where we can exist in like the sunniest places on Earth where you know what I mean? It's like a natural evolutionary thing that you have to do.
You acclimate and adapt.
Yeah, and then it's like white people were obviously people that just like finally went somewhere. It's like we're just gonna stay inside all the time. We don't need like, you know what I mean. Our skin's gonna turn to solar panels because of how much we stay inside and watch Netflix, BC or whatever that. You know what I mean? It's like we just stay inside.
BC, when they were shipping DVDs.
Yeah, it's like we just stay inside and finger ourselves, and that's how white people were. We don't go outside. We don't hunt lions. We get it delivered. Like.
We got the head and everything.
It's just like fucking like tribal people. That's just like, no, we figured out like you don't have to go outside all the time. Sometimes you just gotta have a day in. Sometimes you just gotta take some you time.
It's just all about you.
There's actually it's actually a really good neighborhood. Like
it's really nice. We don't close our garage doors at night.
We don't have to worry about like fucking lions they don't survive here because it's too toxic. We're all toxic here.
We're all toxic.
It's just Britney Spears
and Skin and Bones. They really wouldn't even want to eat us.
That's crazy. Race is a writing strategy. Races is an acronym that helps students organize their thoughts and write more complete responses to text-based questions. The letters in race stand for restate the question, answer the question, cite evidence, explain and elaborate your thinking, sum it all up. Holy shit, I do this naturally when I have to argue with my wife. I do that all. Like, seriously, this is actually like the fucking truth and like perfect simple way to explain how you should communicate with your partner. As far as like if you actually love and care about a person, you care about like what they're thinking and how they're feeling about everything. Like not like you have to ask like how are you feeling like mentally, because that's a real thing. Like everybody goes through struggles. Like how are you doing? Like is there anything bothering you? Anxiety? Like what's bothering you about life? And then like physically, like is there anything physically bothering you? Like, oh man, my fucking shoulder's been hurting for like 3 months. It's like, what? Why haven't you fucking told me? Like, you know, if something happens to you, it's like communicate. And then like, you know what I mean? Like, so that's like a good way to get someone to. My bad.
Scared me.
Sorry, it's my bedtime. And then it's a good way to, you know, make sure not only do they understand that you care, but that's how, if you do care, that's what you should do. Yeah. You should ask people, like the people you love, you should check up on them. Like, how you doing?
Yeah.
Are you doing all right? Like, do you need anything? Like, anything stressing? Like, that helps you mentally, and then like physically. Like, hey, dude, are you take care of yourself? Like, do you take care of yourself? Like, make sure, like, oh man, that's cool. You're eating right, or doing this and that. All that has to do with like living an okay life of like, it's crazy like how much you eat or what you're doing can affect like your mood. And if like like, say if like, oh, you have a place to live, you have a car, and like you have stuff going on for you, and then like maybe you're just not like feeling good, but you never really do anything about it because you never want to like get to the problem. You're just kind of like on the grind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you have to like check in with yourself of like, oh man, like, am I doing all right? Is everyone else doing all right? Do I care? Why should I care? This is how I should care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's funny. I got off on a whole side tangent again. My bad.
Did we finish the story? This fool got shot already, right? We already said that.
Yeah. He got shot.
This fool got shot like
they
6 times.
They carried him out, and they said I think he was like barely alive when they got him out. Yeah. And that the hospital, like you could see, the hospital wasn't far away. So then,
I
cut it out. I'm just saying, but keep that on. They're gonna Ninja Turtle. You're gonna pinpoint, coordinate, dude. They've done it with less. They're gonna coordinate where you live, and someone's gonna fucking like break into your apartment and like touch you. And I don't want that to happen.
I welcome anybody wanting to touch me.
I'm sorry? You shouldn't give out an invitation like that, Falon. Asking you shall receive.
This is all getting cut. It doesn't matter what I say.
Cut all that
right
out.
now.
We're going to go back to like finishing what races are, because we got way off topic of like the difference between ethnicity and races.
Because we were
I think it's like an important issue that we got to finish, Falon.
Okay.
So this is
Let's do it.
Okay, so it was that last one was an acronym that you can use to like, it says it helps, and it makes sense. RACES is an acronym that helps students organize their thoughts and write more complete responses to text-based questions. But that shouldn't stand for just like reciting like or responding to a text-based question. You could do that to people, and that's a good way to communicate on a deeper level.
Yeah.
People can also learn that as a psychopath and like sell a lot of cars or fucking a lot of fucking paper. Teachers can use RACES to help students develop critical thinking skills and express their ideas more effectively. That's great. I mean, it makes sense. Wow. The strategy can be used in a variety of writing tasks, including short responses, paragraph writing, or line. And you can, like I said, you can talk that, and I think that'd be great. So what are all the other races? What are the 6 races? Okay, here. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty.
Let's get down to the nitty-gritty.
Sorry for that long walk around the main topic. Standards for, okay. American Indian or Alaska Native. Okay, that's fucked up. That's like a double like backhanded shit. It says American Indian. They couldn't just say like Native American. They're like, no. I mean, technically it's like, I guess they're Native Americans, but we could say American, and then like Native. Maybe we can just like meet halfway. Like, let's still call them Indian, but we'll put American in there. How about that? It's like, okay, I guess. That way they know what Indian you're talking about. It's not the other Indian, the real ones. It's the American ones, the ones that Columbus's dumbass thought you were, because he's a dumbass. And he was just like, yeah, they're Indians. They're like, oh, fantastic. And then it's like, wait, they're not fucking Indians? Like, where are we? We don't know. It's like, you don't know. It's like,
how do you not know?
How do you not know? And then they're like, we should fucking steal it. Like, what fucking dickheads? Should fucking steal it.
Just fucking take it, dude.
Asshole. American Indian, that's fucking Native American, or Alaska Native. Asian. We're definitely not those, Falon. We're definitely not either of those. Black or African American, Hispanic or Latino, Native Hawaiian, or other Pacific Islander, white. But in this one, it says data on race, and it's, I mean, but is that racist or?
Who knows what's racist?
Not racist, but like what? Like
racist.
Not racist.
Not racist.
The OMB the OMB minimum categories for ethnicity are Hispanic or Latino and not Hispanic or Latino. Dude, that's fucked up. That doesn't even make any sense.
Wait,
so it's like,
what?
You have to fill out both of these on a job application. And so I'd be like, what is your ethnicity? Are you Hispanic or Latino? Or are you not Hispanic or Latino? It's all like, there's a lot of people that are not Hispanic or Latino. There's black people, there's Asian people, there's white people. There's fucking, like, you can pick a lot of different other ones and like, you're either this or you're that. It's like, okay, we're this. Okay. Are you Indian? No. Are you Asian? No. Are you black? No. African American? No. Native Hawaiian? No. Other Pacific Islander? White? No. Okay, so there's a category for the ones we just listed in the one before. They're the not Hispanic or Latino. All the fucking other questions, the answers are like not Hispanic, and it's like, okay, so you're this, so you're not any of that. Yeah. You're like a different thing. You shouldn't even be here. Who are you?
Who are you? What are you doing here?
You don't even belong here. So, but what the fuck is that about? It doesn't even make any sense. And so I've never known what to put. And I think if there's an other, I put other, or I'll just put white, because I'm like, I can't put. I know I'm not white, but I'm definitely not any of the other things. Like, I'm definitely not.
That's crazy. I didn't know there was such a big difference in the two.
I don't know if there is.
It seems really traumatized.
So you're saying if I had blonde hair and lighter skin, I would just be like, you're like, physically you're white. You're just like, you like hot sauce. It's like, what?
So
you look white, but you're like a whole different other thing. Okay, yeah, we got to end this episode.
Okay, we are ending this episode.
Okay, that's the okay. Race and ethnicity. We told you a very crazy story that happened on one of the last episodes, and that was real. It was very scary. Protect yourselves. Be weary of like guns, Final Destination shit, because that shit's real. And I hope it's not you today, my boy, my homegirl. I hope it's not you today.
I hope not.
Every day someone's number is up. A couple of people's numbers are up. Animals, things happen every day, and so like you got this day, whether it was a good day or a bad day. Someone didn't get to fucking finish. Someone didn't even clock in. Someone never made it out of the fucking bed. You got to be like, damn, it's a shitty one, but it's like, okay, like, well. Do I want to stop forever? It's like, well, no. It's like, well, just take what you can get, bitch. Hey.
Take it how you get it. I was like, okay, never mind. I guess not.
All right. We're good. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Oh, baby.